welcome back. It's Leon, and today I want to run you through my main AX8 sounds that I'm using for playing live with Ragdoll. Let's have a look at the signal chain straight away. As you can see, I've set it up. Basically, this is mirroring an old pedal board and amp setup I used to run with a couple of cool features that I wouldn't have done otherwise, just because this is so easy to use. I'm on 6.02 firmware, and I'm using AX8 here. So if we look very, very quickly, wah, pitch shifter, drive pedal in front of the amp. The amp is a USA 2C++, which is a Metallica amp model, which I think was added in Quantum 4 or something like that. I'm probably incorrect there. I've got a parametric EQ block for a boost for lead playing. I've got a chorus, a delay, and then the signal goes out to an effects loop so I can use an amp and a cab live, and then to a cab sim, and then the output. So let's break this down really quickly. Firstly, I'm playing a PRS SC25, and the cab model that I'm using are some mixes from Own Hammer. These are from the Heavy Hitters collection, and if you pick up the Heavy Hitters collection, which I'd recommend, they're really fantastic IRs. There's a bunch of quick start cabs, and I'm using two of those, the 4x12 Mesa V30 Chunk, panned hard left, and then the 4x12 Marshall V30 JS mix. They're fantastic sounding cabs, and straight up with just the drive pedal in front, tightening up the amp, the 2C++ set, as you can see. Ignore this value here for the input drive, because I've actually got a Sing controller attached to that. But as you can see, I just kind of followed the John Petrucci videos on YouTube where he talks about how to dial in his JP2C or C++, and then I tweaked it to taste. So keeping the bass a lot lower than you would on something like a Marshall, and then mids, treble, presence to taste. I don't think there's anything else too funky happening except for the sort of classic V curve in the graphic EQ, which really, really makes this amp work. Boosting quite a bit of high end, quite a lot of sizzle, which I like. It really helps when you're playing with a boomy bass player and drummer to cut through. And I haven't really played around too much with the tube type or any of the extended controls. Let's just hear this straight up. This is scene one for me. This is my rhythm sound. Nice and chunky, pretty scooped sounding as well, but with a mid-heavy guitar and with a really, really loud amp, it seems to do the trick and cut through really well. So what we'll do now is we'll have a look at scene 2. This is probably the scene that I would use the most other than this main rhythm patch. This is essentially a rhythmic delay patch that I use in a lot of songs. So we'll bring it up and we'll look at some of the effects. What's happening here is, as you can see, the gain control has changed on the amplifier to start with. The way I've done that is I've attached a Sing controller in the modifier menu, and then we can look here, modifiers and scene, and you can see that I've got it set to about 35%, and that is controlling the input drive. Notice that the overdrive on the amp is all the way up. So what that does is it just basically cleans everything up just a little bit, gives me a bit of clarity, and then I've added a rhythmic delay, the classic dotted eighth and quarter delay, nothing too fancy there. Mix is about 45%, and this is a 2290 with modulation, which is probably my favorite delay sound in there. It sounds like this. Good for fun stuff like that. Scene 3 is the same sound with a dimension chorus added. So if you're listening to this with headphones or through stereo monitors, this should all be in stereo. And what I've done again is I've upped the gain just a little bit in the controller menu. As you can see, scene 3, the gain's at 50%. So same amount of gain as my main rhythm sound, but without the drive pedal. This sounds like this. Nice and lush for when I want to sound like Andy Summers on crack. Scene 4 is my solo sound, and what's happening here is we're switching the delay back to its X state, which is just a quarter note delay set to the tempo. So the tempo is 147 at the moment, which is pretty high, and as you can see, the corresponding delay time. I haven't really done anything fancy here. It's just a standard stereo delay, but notice that I've used the ratio control here to about 66%. So what's happening is, even though that's set to a quarter note value, the right-hand side will come back at only, what, 2/3 of that value. And the cool thing is the AX8 immediately adjusts the feedback, so you should get an equal amount of feedback on either side. With that, before I play it, the drive pedal's back on, and I've got a parametric EQ here where I'm just bumping up the overall level by 1.5 dB. And very, very subtly here at 2K, I've bumped that up by 1 decibel. So if we hear the rhythm sound and then the lead sound, you'll notice a difference. Here is the rhythm sound. And now the lead sound. And that makes me really, really happy when I step on it live. It's super easy to play. Heaps of sustain, heaps of gain. The delay is really, really lush. It's basically like cheat mode for playing lead guitar. And the final scene I've got here is for the solo in a song called The Last Time, where in the studio I used a wah and an Eventide H9 pitch shifter, basically just to make it sound crazy. So when we do that, that basically turns everything on except for the chorus. It's got the pitch block going, and it's got the auto wah, as well as the parametric boost and the same delay. So it's just an alternative lead sound, and that sounds like this. I should mention as well, with the lead sound, I have used the scene controller again to bump up the gain a little bit. So 60% on my main lead sound and then 70% on this scene 5. Scene 5 is basically just full shred, complete overkill. So there we go. That's how I use the AX8 live. I'll just run through the sounds again, and I will bid you guys farewell. Please subscribe to my channel. Check out my other videos. I'll be putting up heaps more of these tutorials over the coming weeks. And yeah, stay safe. Be good to one another.